sky. I'm just waiting for a guy to finish up near the parcel machine. He's taking a while. So nice, we can drive close by them. Yeah, but the weather, I don't know, it doesn't get under my skin. Some people feel like huge effects from the weather not being sunny. We had very little sun in December. It was all over the headlines. So little sun in Lithuania. Maybe it has something to do with the depression, alcoholism and other stuff. And suicides. Maybe. Maybe it doesn't. Nobody knows. And somebody does. So yeah, waiting for him to finish up. And a long drive awaits. So we'll see. For you, it will be only fast traveling type of experience. For me, it will be like la 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 driving with my Volvo. So yeah, the weather is truly, you know, like the gray sky. It's fine. It's fine. What I dislike is the light rain. No, doesn't float my boat. Hate it. It could be gray all day. I'm fine with that if it's dry. Oh, I think he's done. So, let's go. Let's go. We are back in the shop. You can't see the clock, but it's already 2:30. I did some more work and I thought it wouldn't be very much interesting documenting it, but I am finding out that I work very good when I come in and do the social media post at first, because I need to like muster some creativity, and I kind of, when I am sleepy, I kind of feel like it works better, because in the end of the day I'm like just what should I write, what should I film, what should I do? So I filmed content for 2 reels, 2 TikToks, 2 shorts. All of them are posted. Pretty sweet. And while I was filming that, I cannot do commentary because the CNC was working. I managed to machine all of those handles for this wonderful harness, and you can see this one is with fat carbon and a G10 liner. Sadly, maybe you can see the contrast is way too big, I guess, way too high. And I made some more, which I will do, I guess, a separate video talking about, just showing off how it looks, because I think I did some injustice with the very first presentation video, and I hope in the next one to clear up more, show different looks basically, and tell a little bit more about it. And I will shoot it also today, but that will be a very separate thing, 1 take most probably. And for today I will go grab something to eat because I am starving, and we will go and watch over the grinding jig, which I guess would be the main theme of today's, because I really want to get these Angus blades ground today. And also I will not only shoot the video for this, but I will take pictures and post different variants on the website, so people can see that it can have different looks. It can have also different pricing, and that pricing would be much easier to explain. And because of the platform that I use, using variants of the same product pretty sucks, because now in my bushcraft section of the whole website there are only like 1 knife, which is this, but you know, it's the pre-order, so I want to show that there are different looks ways by the user just funneling in from any social media like this video, and you go there and you see with one glance all the possibilities and different looks, because it's much easier, the bar is lower, and you are not competing as heavily for the attention span of the customer and putting more clicks for them to look at like different, like how can I spec out this knife. So then the most important thing is to have a nice first photo of the knife, and for them to be like, ooh, this really floats my goat, and very nice. And yeah, it should be better to have like multiple rods in the pond, to have multiple different products. That would not, I think, work if I would have like 5 models of bushcrafting knives and they would have like 5 variants each, and that would be way too much. And then I would need to do some adjustments. But yeah, shooting pictures, you can see how much work goes in behind the scenes just to make this happen, to make it run. So yeah, I will go and grab something to eat. My fiance cooked wonderful stew. Mwah! It should be mind-boggling. It's so good. It's so good. No, I don't know if it is as good as the pasta. Maybe it's even better. But we'll see. I won't do any on-camera taste test. I guess this is not a Food Network channel. So yeah, I come back, I do the filming, take photos, and most probably around half till 4 we meet again, one mano a mano, and I'll tell you about my grinding jig, because it's brilliant, it's amazing. Even in the thumbnail, I'll put it in the thumbnail. I really like it, I really dig it. It's very consistent, and you need a CNC to make it, or a lot of patience. So see you soon, and let's look at the jig, I guess. Now, for the wonderful and super simple jig I use. I know that I've made a video before showcasing another iteration of this, but this is a more advanced one for production work. Of course, it can be improved, and I know already a few key points that I would like to improve on it, but I think it gives, in my case, grinding multiple blades, let's say 20 blades in a succession, much easier, quicker, and less guesswork, because we hate guesswork here. I hate guesswork. So first you would need a grinder which flat platen can change its angle. This is wonderful grinder made by Pavel at beltgrinders.pl. You can just loosen this and use this fine adjustment to change the angle. Now, this is key point of hold this jig, because the jig itself is only meant to hold 90 degrees. Of course, it has two purposes, but first and most important is to hold 90 degrees to the table. So we know exactly the matchup of this platen angle to this plane here. So if our table would be tilted one or the other way, that would be no bueno, and especially if this warped, that is very bad. We have some makers here in Lithuania who don't even surface grind their tables. Super bad. It needs to be surface ground. It needs to be evenly machined to be I don't know the word of, to be 90 degrees, a rectangle, I don't know, to the work rest, to the plat. So this is important, and this needs to be so for it to work. So the fine adjustment of this translates both to when the jig is on this side, and both to jig when it's on this side. And the jig itself is basically what I've machined from my carta. It's my carta for the bottom. I made a small recess here just to place in the 1 to 3 block. And the 1 to 3 block is for, first, to give it some weight. Second, it's an easy way for me to know and see and to actually create this thing that it's 90 degrees to the base, because these all faces are perpendicular, I guess, and flat. So when I machine this flat and I put it in, I know that this plane and these planes are at 90 degrees, and I machined it so that this plane is also parallel to this, so it's also at 90 degrees. This and this are both 90 degrees, and that way when we adjust this, it adjusts the angle appropriately. It doesn't matter if the base is on this side or the base is on that side. And basically this is one of the key points. And the second key point is, and let me grab one of my knives. And this is just a shop knife. So it's a little bit beaten up, but you can see that the plunge line is at an angle. And I want all of the knives to have the plunge at the same angle. So we have the bevel angle, which is dictated by this, you can imagine. And then we have such a rotation, which shows how the belt attacks the bevel. So and this is like really super important when it comes to sheets. When sheets have their retention behind the plunge lines, it's very important to have consistent plunge lines for the retention to work. So I made, and thanks to the 1 to 3 block, they have a lot of holes. And I've made this jig. It's super easy to machine. And give me 1 sec, I will get an Angus. And here it is, and it's without paracord, so it's pretty easy. Just you plop it in, and I just use clamps to clamp it down. And you can see the angle will be, there is almost no play. It will be always at the same angle, and how further back we go is just by skill. It's just by eye, by skill, and you can always just draw some guidelines. So this thing covers that we always have plunge line in the same at the same angle. The spot of the plunge line is dictated by our skill and our memory, muscle memory. And the nice thing about having your blade protrude through the front of the jig, because a lot of jigs are like angle iron, and where you have your knife like this, you can very quickly grind one side, switch the sides, and ground the other side. And then you can just dip it in the bucket of water and continue grinding. So it's faster and more efficient, and it is super easy to fix if you have any warps from grinding too much on one side. You just can switch the side, grind a little bit more, cool it off. The water goes directly on the blade, and it's just great. It is just great. And the second problem, or the third problem, or I don't know which one problem is that first of all, I used to use this to set the angle, because the angle is very important, because it dictates by Pythagorean theorem how high our bevel goes and to what edge thickness. So if we want to hit a consistent bevel height and thickness behind the edge, we not only need consistent thickness stock, if you get like 0.5 millimeter thicker stock, the angle or the height of the grind would be different to the same thickness. And if you grind to the same height of the grind, we get a thicker edge. So it's no bueno. So you need to have consistent stock thickness and of course consistent angle. And this one is pretty lame, as it has pretty big difference, and it's super hard to trigger it to drop to one side or the other side to 84.4 or 84.2, and it's not very consistent. Even if I want to do, like, let's say I am grinding my blades and I find a spot in the sandblasting that is not perfect. I go back, I sandblast it, and maybe I found it very late in the process and I am grinding other blades that have other angle, and I want to come back, just add it to here when I have done sandblasting, and I might want to make the bevel shiny again. So I need to set the same angle. But because this has such inconsistencies, that is not possible, or it's very hard. So it's again a point of uncertainty. So I came up with a super simple solution, which is basically angle guides, again from my Carta. And I love to name those and write the exact angle. And you can see the exact angle is 84.542. And that is super easy to set, as I am again using a 1 to 3 block, which are indispensable. And you just ram it against, pull the light, and just plop the light from the other side. And you can see a light gap. Then you just fine tune and adjust so the platen contacts correctly to this angle guide, which is 90, and this is 84.542. And then you have the exact same angle. And then it's like you saw it. You just put it on, screw it back. No playing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You just screw it there. You just add this here, clamp it, few swoops with a finishing belt, and it is done. Konnichiwa. It is the best thing currently. Of course, there are some things that I would like to change. Especially, I would like to, you can see the knife is off center of the jig. I would love for it to be on the center from both sides. So it's always on the center of the jig. That would be pretty nice. Because if you are going onto the far edge, the far edge, you have a lot of jig going off of the table rest, or maybe I need a bigger table rest, but it would be nice to have a consistent and symmetrical grinding jig. And also another thing to keep in mind is that when you dip it in water and some water gets under here, it tends to stick. It tends to stick to the table and it is hard to move it. So my buddy came up with a great idea, which I will implement in the future. You just flip it over and add some grooves. And I thought it even better to add like car tire grooves, so the water gets pushed away. It doesn't suck itself down, and you remove the water from the table if you have any. So that is the two things that I would like to change in the future. And yeah, it is so simple. And the beautiful thing is that I can grind with one belt, and I can grind without changing the setup a lot of blades. I just put one in, do 40 grit, I go one, I take it out, put another in, go, and it's basically such a easy way to quickly swap out blades. It's wonderful. And I make these for all of my knives that I am currently grinding. this increases not only the efficiency, it allows me to make more consistent knives in general. They just look consistent. They don't look, this one is a very focused, greatly made knife, and you can clearly see that it is a Friday evening made knife, which is a little bit a handmade aesthetic, which is no bueno in my book. It should look always the same. I love consistency. I strive for consistency. And currently the only limiting factor to have super consistency is me not having the machinery that I need, not having hundreds of thousands of euros and spending that on the machinery, or having to work more and build up more of the muscle memory, which is what I'm doing now. And I am removing everything that is unnecessary and only leaving handwork where it matters. At least I try. So yeah, that's about it. I guess this came out clear, and you can see how simple and beautiful this fixture is. And I hope somebody of you tries and uses. So this is it for today. Feeling super tired, super late again. I did a lot of administrative work, fulfilling orders, and yet I did not manage to grind the blades. Sadly, it is moving to Wednesday, the grinding. I'm super happy that I made a lot of content. I made a lot of content for Instagram, for YouTube, and yeah, showing what I do needs to be more of a part of the process, and I shouldn't beat myself up about it. I hope you all liked and gathered maybe ideas how to improve it on the jig and the double jig system, and can't wait for your comments. Maybe you can see some flaws or improvements. I just really like the weight of it. The bigger footprint gives more stability, and you know, I'm not afraid to share it. It's fine. Like Chris Reeves says, like, you can show all of your process. It's like there are so little people willing to put in the work. I just want to show you something interesting and not afraid for you to be stealing it, because you still need to do the work, you still need to make the knives, and you still need to do everything. And it's okay even if you use it and copy it. I endorse it, because then people will make easier, better knives, and the whole industry would flourish because we will have some nice handmade knives. And yeah, still trying to battle with the inner technician and the technical work. I'll get there, and I promise tomorrow I'll need to send out one order, but when I come in, I will grind the knives, and I promise to all of you, I will show you that they are ground, and we will go on to making the sheets, and then I need to go and do the varnish knives, which I am super proud, and the ironwood one looks immaculate. So see you soon. Wipe a lot and hard, don't have smelly fingers, and like, share, subscribe, finally comment, get me some engagement, and bless me with the algorithm gods. Talk to you later, alligators.